So do you notice a child in your neighborhood who always seems to be alone, is outside maybe at strange hours, or maybe you overhear a coworker talking about their out-of-control teenager and they just don't know what to do? We want to help you. Not only spot the signs of child abuse, but also find the right place to find help. Last night on the 10 o'clock news, we introduced you to a young woman who was just terribly abused in her own home. She spoke to Stacey Spanos, talking about how this started when she was just 5 years old. Eventually, she was thrown out of the house, and at that exact moment, was attacked by a vicious dog. Well, with the help of the local organization, Daniel Kids, the 17-year-old is now moving forward and hoping to help others like her.
She went from knowing that you can't just blow up on people and punch walls and hit people, but then there was the transition period of knowing what to do with how she was feeling, which is what we spent a lot of time working on.
Why do you want to talk about this now?
To help people that went through the same thing, or who are going through the same thing.
So that 17-year-old that you just heard from also wants to make people aware of the signs that a child may be being abused. Joining me now is CEO of Daniel Kids, Jim Clark. Good morning to you. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having us. Important topic.
Let's first start also because the signs of child abuse may not always be obvious because it's more than just physical abuse, but also emotional abuse.
That's correct. You know, it's estimated 680,000 children in the country are abused on an annual basis. And here we know in Northeast Florida, we have calls of at least 8 children every day who have been abused and neglected. And 80% of those are because of neglect. Personal hygiene often are things that you can see. Kids inappropriately dressed, startle syndromes from kids when they hear loud voices or something of that sort. And of course, in terms of sexual abuse, about 9% of those situations happen, and there are some specific things that professionals know to look for. One of the important things is to know that it's our responsibility as adults to, if we see something, say something. And indeed, with children, you may be saving a life. You can make an anonymous call to the child abuse hotline at 1-800-96-ABUSE. And it's an anonymous, so those professionals on that phone will be able to take that information and determine indeed if there's something that they need to follow up with.
Now, Daniel, I know will help these children find foster homes, will help house them, in fact, at Daniel.
That's correct.
But there's also, and I hear this from friends of mine who have teenagers, and they at times want to kind of rip their hair out. Is there something, if you have reached a point where there's maybe some mental issues associated with a teenager, you just can't figure it out, where you can just get help through Daniel. You're not throwing away your child because you love them, but you need an independent person to come in and offer help, and it can be expensive, private counseling.
There are. It can be, but indeed it doesn't have to be, and the alternatives are really terrible. One of the things that anybody can do is call Daniel Kids at our main number, and we'll help you get connected. If it's a service that we can provide, we will. Indeed, we deal with children who have been abused. We deal with kids who are wayward, who are getting into or associating with the wrong child. We're dealing with families on a regular basis who are having just I think every parent who has a teenager may want to kill them at one time or another. But the reality is that there is help out there to help you go through these difficult phases with your children. And indeed, Daniel provides outpatient therapy in addition to our inpatient therapy for kids who have serious emotional problems. There are some children who were able to reunite, even though abuse may have occurred with their family. And in Dawn's case, that's not going to be the situation. She's with a loving foster family that's helping her, and we're going to help her grow. Her next phase is to live independent, and that's one of the things that Daniel does. We have independent living. And one of the things, too, that a lot of people need to know is that there are some families out there that want a bigger family, or they're empty nesters. We help with adoption. If adoption's in the sentence, we can help people with those. But this month in particular, and your station is to be complimented, we're trying to emphasize this is a child abuse prevention, and there are things that parents and families can do to prevent them getting from the breaking point, or if you see something in terms of a child, It needs to be reported, and there are services to help that child and that family.
It takes a village. Everybody has to get involved. You can't turn your head and walk away. Jim,
That's
thank
right.
you so much for being here. Lots of information also that I want to tell you about. First of all, because it is Child Abuse Prevention Month, there is a conference and luncheon that's coming up tomorrow at the Jacksonville Marriott South Point. A great way to ask questions and learn more about warning signs, how you can help, and education. They're welcoming teachers, anyone who's associated with children to attend this. You can do that by registering at the exchangeclub.com. We will post a link also on news4jax.com. We also want to remind you we're holding a phone bank tonight from 5 until 7 here at the station. So social workers with Daniel Kids will be here. They're answering your questions. Are you having trouble with a child? Do you need help? No ramifications. What are the warning signs again of neglect? We will give you the phone number to call during the evening newscast beginning at 5 o'clock, so please stay tuned for that. And of course, you know, Daniel always could use help in terms of donations because they do such a fantastic job helping those in our children that some people have simply just thrown away. Someone who has been very involved in Daniel also is Richard. I mean, you know
thanks to
firsthand.
Jim. The Para-Jimmys actually got me in a long time ago, and I could share some stories that will leave you just like questioning really, the thoughts of some parents. But I know that Jim, really has his heart into it. And the example of trying to better your community, I mean, no more than this guy right here with everything that he does over there at Daniel.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work, buddy.
We thank you
I
so
look forward
much,
to seeing
Jim,
you
for all
again.
that you do. You've been doing it a long time.
Yes, you have. All right.